Dr. Vyas, welcome to our show. Thank you very much for joining us at such a last minute. Dr. Vyas is a Bay Area-based cardiologist, microbiologist, cellulologist, robotics expert. Those who doesn't know him, please look up his name. He has done a lot of great work. The big thing is he has a great heart. I asked him for help and he said, Sanjeev, what do you need? So the question, Dr. Vyas, we have is, what is the role of private enterprises? Because we all have to take responsibility. We cannot say this is someone else's responsibility. It's our life, our responsibility, our country, our world.
Sanjeev, first of all, thank you for inviting, and it's a pleasure to be following Arjun and other panel members in this great group of IIT people. Definitely, IIT will play a very, very key role. All the engineers and all the private sector will play key roles. Today, I will divide the job that is in hand in three parts. What is immediate task? What is a short-term task or near-term? And what is a long-term task that's in our hand? Right now, what Arjun also mentioned is telehealth. There are so many telehealth platforms right now. I think the problem is becoming dissemination of the right information to the end users. Again, I think we are failing again in identifying how the end users can use the technology as well as the brain power that's available to help them. There is still a lot of confusion how to go forward with the limited medicine we have. I think we don't have a lot of treatment as well at this point. More than treatment, there is confusion. There is a lot of other kind of issues happening, and all those things can be taken care by technology. And I'm a very avid technology fan. So I think when we started, me and Arjun also started to think about putting together one of the very biggest technology telehealth platform with like 20,000-30,000 desks open, where there can be streamlined physician as well as end users, and that can be promoted with the help of government. I think without government-private partnerships, things won't work because the trust comes from the government. Since that has not happened, and right now there are more than 20,000, 30,000, some small telehealth platforms made by people in every nook and corner. And they are not effective, they are not reaching people. Like, they are one day treating 5 patients, next day 20, and then when nobody's reaching out to them, those become dead endeavors. There has to be a data bank, just like the Bombay Stock Exchange. There has to be a telehealth stock exchange, not a stock exchange, a telehealth exchange, where everybody can register their company, and where the companies are responsible for making sure the credentialed physicians are there, and the government and the companies which are in mass media can connect to people. Like, there are people ready to help them. So the physicians have an opportunity of going to the right desk, and patients have the opportunity, and there is a structured marketing done. So everybody is funneled through a process. So we are lacking a process. We are still going in a haphazard manner. There has to be a structure, and without structure, you cannot market anything. Of any company that has done good marketing at this point is Tata Telehealth. But again, it's not effective because it's not able to bring a lot of people on board. So that's immediate help that we can do, and that would be a very easy platform to make. Next thing is innovation in equipment, like end users. I think oxygen requirement is really high because in COVID, we try not to intubate patients. In COVID, any patient, during every minute, you need not more than 2 to 3 liters of oxygen. Maximum, you can use 2 liters of oxygen. During COVID time, we are giving every patient 60 liters of oxygen. You can imagine how much oxygen is wasted in the air because you are trying to not intubate a patient, because all the oxygen is basically dissipating in the environment. It's not going to the lungs. So there is a need for innovation in the oxygen delivery system. And there is the technology there. We need to fine tune it. We need to find a manufacturer in bulk in India who can manufacture them. We don't know this is the last wave. We don't know. So we have to prepare for it, and there has to be a low cost solution. And the solutions are there. We have to put together, again, a working task for technology development. for innovation for low cost oxygen delivery system that can solve the problem. And Arjun is working with IIT Kharagpur, and I'm very actively involved in that part. We have our own system here that we are working on. It's still like a little bit crude. I think it has to become more savvy to make it in like 1,000, 2,000 rupees so that it can go back to the people in bulk. We need a lot of plastic manufacturers, a lot of motor people. So we have all those people. The thing is, we have to structure it right. So that is about immediate need with the low technology innovation. Now I will come to a near-term needs. What are the near-term needs? Near-term needs are vaccines, new drugs, as well as mutation research, because the virus is mutating fast. We don't know whether the vaccines we are making, they are effective tomorrow. So what we need is, we need to have a health intelligence. India, I'm pretty sure the government is spending money on health intelligence. The problem is the health intelligence for the COVID is enough? As the meeting started, the most common thing that came out, we were caught off guard with this COVID. A lot of people knew that's coming, but most people were caught off guard. So the centralized health intelligence failed miserably. And that is the reason we failed. I'm not going to talk about US right now. I'm just focusing on India. So there is a lack of health intelligence. We need to have a health intelligence. We need to bring the right people on board. Whichever way we do it, whosoever has the connection, please bring those people on, and we can make it a little better than what we are right now. So that's a near-term need that we have. Definitely then we come to long-term need. Long-term need, one part was discussed earlier, is orphans, huge problem. More than that, the dead bodies in the rivers, huge problem. That can become a very big disaster. I discussed with Sanjeev yesterday about that. And we have to make sure there has to be a way of preventing dropping dead bodies into the river. There are trillions of copies of virus in every body, and the body cells stay alive for 4 to 6 hours. And they float, and then the virus after that stays alive for 6 hours. So total 12 hours, the virus is alive with the dead body in the water. We don't know whether there are 100 bodies. We don't know whether there are 1,000 bodies, whether there are 10,000 bodies in the Ganga and other rivers. That is a problem. We don't want the worst scenario to happen from that. We have to prevent that. Then coming the role of investment in R&D, drug discovery, I think those are important things that we have to do. Education system has to be a little bit more tight for the physicians to understand the engineering aspect of the issues. I think there has to be better collaboration in near future for the physicians and the engineers to come together. I think they're running on parallel paths. There is no collaboration, and that collaboration has to come sooner. If the Penn IIT works with Penn physician and find the researchers we can, and find some better solution for a lot of things that we can do, there has to be low cost, because there are 140 crore people and huge population to serve. We have to find a low cost solution for the nation, which is as effective as possible. And the bureaucracy has to bring the red tape down so that the implementations can be easy. So I can take some questions in the end as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dinesh. Thank you very much for joining hands with us, this of need. I'm really grateful to all of you who have joined. Dr. Vyas has shared with us how he and his organization is helping the nation, helping our world.